Welcome to Surviving the Side Hustle, the show where driven entrepreneurs share the real stories, the real honest struggles, and the hard-won secrets behind performing at their best. I'm your host, Rob Tracy, a personal performance strategist and the founder of TAPS Coaching, where I partner with entrepreneurs to turn real effort into real momentum. Every week, I sit down with an owner-operator who's building something of their own, and we get past the highlight reel to find out what's actually working. Because the truth is, most people don't need more. They need to pay attention to what works for them and do more of that. So whatever you're building, let's stop spinning and start winning. We'll jump into the show right after this. If you're an entrepreneur or owner-operator who's working hard but feeling stuck spinning your wheels instead of building real momentum, I'd love to help. I want to invite you to a free strategy session with one of our performance strategists. We'll help you see what's actually working, what's holding you back, and the clearest next step to get your momentum going again. To claim your free strategy session, head over to survivingthesidehustle.com/free call. Again, that's survivingthesidehustle.com/free call. We'd love to talk to you. And now back to the episode. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a Friday recap episode of Surviving the Side Hustle. Super excited for this little recap here because I want to kind of dive right in. So this week's guest, he was making good money. By most measures, doing fine, and yet he described it as having a heaviness on his chest every single day. Not a bad week, not a rough patch, just a slow, grinding weight that came from being in the wrong seat. See, that was Joe Rendina, one of my good friends, and this was him before he took this leap. See, Joe is a physical therapist, a business owner, and now a consultant who helps service-based entrepreneurs build the systems and structure that they actually need in order to scale. He built Iron Health Physical Therapy from the ground up into 4 locations. And now he's in a new phase, stepping back from the treatment table and stepping into the role of helping other owner-operators skip the brutal lessons that he had to learn the hard way. If you are the person running your own business but still feel like you're running in place, this conversation's for you. So a bit about Joe's background. Joe's path started with a torn ACL. He was a kid, scared, on crutches, and his physical therapist was the one who got him back on the football field. That moment lit something in him, and he knew he wanted to do that for other people. So he went through school, became a PT, put in the reps, learning the craft, and always had it in the back of his mind that he would eventually open his own thing. What he also noticed, even as a student, is that he was never really wired for other people's rules. He was a decent student, he did what he had to do, but he was beating to his own drum. And I think a lot of us listening know exactly what that feels like. So he worked for a while after getting licensed, built up his skills and his confidence. Then he made the jump. And the moment he did, he said, just felt a line. The heaviness lifted, and he had been building ever since, from 1 location to 4, from treating patients to developing leaders, and now from leading his own team to helping other business owners build a foundation they do not have to tear down and rebuild 3 times before they get it right. So here's the part that Joe did not decide to sugarcoat, and I really appreciated this about him. He went fast. Like really fast. And while I got into 4 locations without treating anyone, the cost was real. He talked about sleepless nights, staff turnover, and sitting there wondering how he was going to make rent. And underneath all of that was something a lot of us can relate to. The shiny object syndrome. Every new idea, every new opportunity, he wanted to chase it. And when you're building a team, not everyone on the team has the same wiring or the same urgency. So you end up creating chaos instead of momentum. He also built a lot of those early locations without the right foundation underneath them. No clear mission statement, no strong core values embedded into the culture, no defined job descriptions or KPIs for each role. So when things got bigger, the cracks began to show. He basically had to rebuild the operating system of his business while the business was already running. He told me that is never fun, and I believe him for that. That is the kind of thing that will age you quickly. Hey, what's up? Sorry for the interruption. It's Rob. One quick thing before we keep going. If you're feeling stuck or like you've lost the momentum that you used to have, here's a simple, free first step. Take the assessment at gettheprime.com. In just a few minutes, it'll show you exactly where you're leaking momentum, so you can get that ball rolling again with the Prime app. It's completely free. So if you're new here, this is the best place to start. Go ahead to gettheprime.com and take the free assessment. All right, let's get back into it. So Joe's secret is something that he said almost as a throwaway line, but it really stuck with me. He said comfortability is... He said it, and then he got a little fired up about it. Actually apologized and asked me to repeat the next question because he got so into the answer. I think that tells you everything. For Joe, the moment that you get comfortable is the moment you get sloppy, the moment you get weak. His whole operating philosophy is built around running away from comfort on purpose too. And his practical version of that, the thing that left listeners with at the end, was to take a real look at your calendar and color code your week. Technician time versus CEO time. If you are spending 60% or more of your time in the weeds doing the work, that is the signal. You have to carve out dedicated CEO time, even if it is just 2 hours a week, or less even, where you just sit and think about strategy, plan what is next, and work on the business instead of in it. That awareness of how you're actually spending your time is where the shift begins to start. So how does this relate to becoming a prime performer yourself? The idea maps directly into the prime performance process. And I want to name a couple of principles here because I think Joe hit on more than one. First of all, clarity. Joe's whole message is that you cannot move towards freedom if you do not have a crystal clear 10-year vision written down and a calendar that actually reflects your priorities. You have to see the current reality before you can change it. That color-coded calendar exercise is not just a productivity hack. It's actually a diagnostic tool. It shows you the gap between where you are being and who you need to be next. I remember having to do this myself, shifting slowly out of that personal training role into more podcasting and speaking things. So it's definitely a helpful tool and exercise to perform routinely too. The second principle that I want to touch on is optimization. Because once you have clarity, you can start trimming the technician hours and protecting the CEO time. You're not just doing more, but you're doing the right things in the right slots. I always say that you cannot engineer a better performance without first understanding what you are actually doing right now. Joe gave us a dead simple way to figure that out. So if any of this conversation today really landed for you, and I really think it should, go find Joe on Instagram. His handle is joey._Rendina. He's running a free 90-minute workshop called The Technician Trap, walking you through a high-level process for getting out of the weeds and into the CEO seat. And it's free, it's actionable, and even if you walk away thinking a little differently, Joe said that's a win for him. So go give him a follow, keep an eye out for the next workshop date. And if you are a service-based business owner who is stuck in doing and ready to start leading, reach out to him directly. This is exactly what he is building right now, and he is genuinely passionate about. So Joe, dude, if you're listening through this recap episode, thank you for sitting down with me on this one. You've been in the arena long enough to know what the hard lessons actually cost, and the fact that you're turning around and handing that knowledge to the next person coming up, that is a real thing, and I'm grateful for it and for our friendship. And for everybody else listening, here's the one thing I want you to sit with for this week. Ask yourself, where is the heaviness? Because Joe described exactly what it felt like to be in the wrong seat and doing the wrong things day after day. If you feel the weight right now, whether it's in your business or your career or wherever you are, that feeling is actually the information you need. So do not ignore it. Take a look at your calendar this week. Get honest about how you're spending your time and ask yourself if the way you're living is actually pointed toward the life that you say you want. That is the starting point. If you want to hear the full conversation with Joe, head over to survivingthesidehustle.com and check out episode 211. Follow the show while you're there so you never miss another episode, and I'll catch you guys next week. Peace, peace, peace. All right, sweet. That's a wrap on this week's episode of Surviving the Side Hustle. If this conversation gave you something that you can use, would you do me a favor and follow the show? And then please leave a quick rating and review wherever you listen. It genuinely helps more entrepreneurs find these stories, and it helps spread the word of our guests. And if someone came to mind while you were listening, do us both a favor and share the episode their way. You can connect with me and find everything that we mentioned over at survivingthesidehustle.com. Until next time, remember, pay attention to what works for you and then do more of that. That's how you stop spinning and start winning.